I have been asked variations on this question many times. Do we need love? Are you kidding me? Even the Beatles knew that. All you need is love, they sang. Deep down, we all know that too. And the evidence for it is overwhelming. In the longest mental health study ever done in the world, the lead researcher, George Vaillant was his name, said, quote, happiness is love, period. And he put in the period, end quote. The people who had loving connections with others in this study were found to be happier and healthier in every way. Better relationships, lived longer, lived healthier, everything. We need love in just as essential a way as we need food, water, and air. Love is a palpable power in the universe. When there is sufficient love, there is no fear, anger, complaining, injustice, racism, violence, or any number of other problems that we see or hear about every day. That sounds like an impossible dream, but it's not. After 30 years of observing people and teaching people about real love or unconditional love, I can state with absolute certainty that there is no power greater than love. Oh, and it's also pretty great fun. Love breeds confidence, cooperation, and creativity. We all need this love now and always. We need love more than anything, and without it, we will be in pain. We will feel small and helpless, and we hate that. So wait a minute, you might think. If love is what I need, then why have I not found it? Why can I not find somebody who can truly love me? So many of us are looking for that. Well, the answer is actually really easy, but it begins the most rigorous and rewarding journey of your life. Almost none of us know that what we're looking for is not just any kind of love. Not just any kind of love will do. What we all need is unconditional love or real love, which means to care about another person without any thought for something in return. There is no disappointment or irritation in real love. You can use that to distinguish real love from everything else. No disappointment or irritation. And you might think, what? A relationship with zero disappointment or anger? Yeah, imagine that. The thought is nearly preposterous to us, which proves that we have little to no familiarity with such love. That we would go, what? Proves that we don't know what it is. We haven't felt it. You didn't get that kind of love with no disappointment or anger. So you don't know how to look for it in another person. No wonder you haven't felt love. You don't know how to give it to a partner either. How do I know that you didn't get unconditional love? Well, remember in your childhood. The proof is in your own head. Remember in your childhood how many times your parents or others rolled their eyes at your mistakes. Uncounted. They criticized your performance, especially with a tone. They told you they were disappointed in you with their words, their facial expression. Or the occasions when you just needed to talk to someone, but there was nobody there. On all these occasions, we were not feeling unconditionally loved, whether aggressively or by simple neglect. And we felt the message, I don't love you, whether we realized it consciously or not. We really did. It was like being poked with a sharp stick. That's a lot of wounds. Because we lack real love, naturally we look for the excitement of anything that makes us feel good temporarily, like praise, physical beauty, sexual attraction, sex itself, money, drama, social media, and on. But none of these things helps us find someone who can share an unconditionally loving relationship with us, which is what we're looking for. I promised you 10 powerful tips to attract real love into your life. Tip number 1 for attracting real love into your life. Learn more about what real love is. Almost none of us has experienced enough unconditional love. No disappointment or irritation. Not enough to have the capacity to identify it consistently. Not even close. So how could we possibly see it in another person, in a potential partner, for example? How could we find a potential partner? How could we give it as a partner to another person? No chance. But we can learn what real love is. The work has already been done. We don't have to wander in the wilderness for decades trying to figure out this mystery. And here are some resources for learning about real love. Go to reallove.com and learn a great deal more about this subject. On the site, for example, you can get the Real Love Boot Camp, which is a wonderful synopsis of real love and a summary of practical ways to find it. Talk about easy, a streaming course that you can look at whenever you want to. You can read hundreds of blogs on a website. You can go to youtube.com under Real Love Company and watch hundreds of videos about real love. You can go to realloveparents.com and learn how real love can be practically and effectively used to raise loving, responsible, and happy children. Nearly half of single people looking for love also have children. So there's a great deal there for you. Tip number 2, don't settle for anything less than the real thing. The distractions of the world are beyond describing, and they're accelerating. Every day we are bombarded, that word is not too harsh, it's actually a military word, bombarded with messages and images that promote glamour, sexual attraction, pleasure, social media, money, power, and advertising, and it's endless. And all those things are exciting. They're interesting. They're fun. And in the absence of real love, we strongly tend to use them to soothe us and excite us. But then we're distracted, often fatally so, from finding the real love we really want. Tip number 3, tell the truth about yourself. On dating sites, in dating books, on social media, and everywhere, what is the conventional wisdom? Easy. Look your best. Be sensitive to the interests of the other person so you can say the right things. Look attractive. Go on dates that are exciting. Find somebody who makes you feel good. Learn how to have great sex. Give compliments freely. These recommendations and more are straight off the most highly accessed dating sites on the internet. And you're afraid not to follow them. You're afraid that if you don't follow them, you will be swiped left and left out. But what do you really want? You want a partner who can understand and unconditionally love you. If you try to look your best, if you work at being attractive, you're not being yourself. And then you can't find that unconditional love that you're looking for. So how do you tell the truth about yourself? Using the same resources that I already talked about and that you can find repeated again in the captions. Tip number 4, don't try to make a relationship happen. Don't try. This is exactly opposite from what the entire dating environment believes and teaches. Everybody believes grab hold of whoever comes near enough and get whatever love you can from them. In fact, squeeze it out of them. Wrong. You can't get to know someone until they have told the truth about themselves for quite some time, consistently, nor can they get to know you until you have done the same. So you don't try to make a relationship happen. No, instead, you keep telling the truth. You practice caring and being cared for. You keep investigating whether a loving relationship is even possible. When we're looking for relationships, we strongly tend to avoid those fatal mistakes that'll make us look bad. Wrong again. Tell the truth instead and make mistakes as much as possible so you can discover whether you can have a genuine relationship with that person that you're making the mistakes with. It's way more efficient to find out in the first 5 minutes of a date that a good relationship is not possible than to discover that after 10 years and 3 kids. Tip number 5, make friends before looking for a partner. Before you even consider a dating relationship or potential lifelong partnership, you want to practice all of these tips with potential friends. It's much less traumatic to lose an acquaintance than it is to lose a partner. In fact, although these tips that I've talked about so far and will continue to discuss appear to be primarily for dating, for finding a partner, you can use all of them to find good friends. The criteria are almost the same. A recent study indicated that 60% of Americans regularly experience loneliness. Well, if they experience it regularly, that's called being lonely, which has been proven medically to cause a significantly greater risk of suicide, as well as causing poor physical health, such as, well, as much as smoking half a pack of cigarettes daily. Feeling lonely is dangerous to us. Tip number 6, cast your net widely. We need all the real love we can find. Talk to people everywhere. Our imaginations are poor in this regard for many of us. Social media, church, recovery meetings, school, work, dating sites, in the store. Not kidding. Many people have struck up conversations about themselves that ended up going somewhere while standing in line at Walmart. Again, read the list of resources on the reallove.com website. Go through the resources that I've already enumerated and that are in the caption, and you'll learn what to say to people, because most of us don't know. You'll learn how to gather the kind of meaningful relationships you want. Tip number 7, learn what to say to potential partners. People ask, well, how do I tell the truth about myself? What do I say? Everybody has these questions. And again, same resources will help you with what to say. From these, you'll learn what to say that will greatly increase your opportunities to connect with people. That's all you're doing. It won't create connections, but as you learn to make yourself available emotionally, people will see you, and that's how you will find people who are capable of loving you. Tip number 8, learn what to look for in potential partners. The resources I've discussed will tell you what to look for in partners, but let me summarize briefly. You're looking for friends and partners, 1, who can tell the truth about themselves to you as you're being truthful to them. You're looking for people who can easily admit being wrong. People who insist on being right are pretty much unteachable, and wow, do you not want to enter into a long-lasting relationship with them. 3, you're looking for people who are willing to read or study any of the real love material with you, or just discuss it with you. What could be possibly more important than discussing with a potential friend or partner how the both of you could find and develop and share unconditional love? I can't think of anything. You're looking for people who don't easily get angry. Angry people are very afraid and very difficult to connect with. They can often appear to be big and competent, but their anger disqualifies them as partners. There are many qualities to look for, but those are the most important few. Tip number 9, feel your feelings, but don't make decisions while you're excited or afraid or angry. In today's world, feelings, the expression I feel, or opinions, I think, have become elevated to the same place as the truth. And that's a huge mistake. This is not to invalidate feelings. I am saying, though, that until you feel unconditionally loved and consistently peaceful, how you feel in a given moment can be very misleading. For example, you might think you're in love, when really you're just temporarily excited, and boy, you don't want to marry somebody or move in with somebody or have a long-lasting relationship with somebody, begin one, just based on moments of excitement. Sex, for example, praise, power, pleasure of any kind. All those things are not the same as love. 2, you might think you're connecting with someone when really you're just feeling flattered. Don't be deceived by the feelings. You might feel certain about a relationship, also an opinion, when really you're just mostly afraid to be alone. I've seen all these mistakes many, many times. Just don't be tricked by your feelings. You won't know your real feelings until you feel consistently peaceful as a result of being unconditionally loved, preferably first by friends. Tip number 10, Practice, practice, practice. As with any worthwhile effort, finding and keeping real love requires a lot of practice. Practice all the tips that we've talked about every day. If you're serious about finding love in your life, you have to be serious about practicing it. There's nothing in your life more valuable than unconditional love. Couldn't be. So make it happen over and over. As you do, you'll feel happier. And you get much better at identifying real love as opposed to the many imitations of love, like excitement, praise, power, sexual attraction, and so on. And reading the resources that you find in the caption will help you with all of that practice. I'm dedicated to helping you find the real love that you want, need, and deserve. You really can do this.